What's going on, college football fans, fanatic family? It's your boy Coach I, man. It's Monday. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for us to do our recap from week 3 SEC football, man. That's right. We appreciate you stopping by. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing started.
No, I got you on this one, Coach. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The fanatic. But we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see.
That's right, man. We're in here for another Monday edition weekend recap, SEC Week 3. Hey, man, the weekend did not disappoint. At one point on Saturday, it was a lot of football on, so I couldn't even watch it all. They had multiple TVs going. I was trying to get it, so I had to go back and watch some of this stuff. But, hey, I'd rather have too much on than not enough, man. So we're going to go ahead and get into this thing, man. If you're new to the channel, we are Fanatic Sports Network. This is the SEC Snap Count. We talk all things SEC on the Fanatic, college football, basketball as well. Today is our usual day where we do our weekend recap of the previous college football weekend. And then on Wednesdays at 8 p.m., we do our preview for the upcoming weekend. And on Tuesdays, we are all Georgia football at 8 p.m. with respect to hedges. And then on Thursdays, we're all South Carolina football with the stat guy on the stat line at 8 p.m. So basically, man, you can get some SEC football at some point, Monday through Thursday on the Fanatic Sports Network. So if you like the SEC, hit that like and subscribe, share it with somebody next time you come back. Bring somebody, man. Let's go ahead and bring our guys up so we can get this thing started. Stat guy in the house. What's going on, Stat?
Hey, man, we on a ledge around here. We on a ledge. You're trying to come push your boy off so I ain't got to jump.
We're going to get into the South Carolina meltdown and the future going forward. Of course, again, he'll dive more into that. Also, for the Gamecock fans that are viewing us tonight, be sure to tune in this Thursday where you get, like I say, a more in-depth detail account for the Gamecocks. And former Gamecock wide receiver Corey Bridges will be in the house to talk Gamecocks with the stat guy. Let's bring our other guy. Y'all know on Mondays what it is, man. We bring our guy from just my damn opinion and respect the hedges and all things YouTube. It's our guy, Shawty Parker. What's going on, Shawty?
Fellas, what's happening?
Hey.
Stat guy. Don't do it, man. It's so much to live for, man. All kind of ice cream flavors, man. You know, don't do it. Long season, bro.
Hey, bro, we don't care about no ice cream flavors. We care about football around these parts. And college football ain't sweet right now.
Oh, the Gamecocks went from on top of the world where you needed to be 2-0 or better to now it's getting crazy out here, man. They talking about firing the coach and everything, man. It's crazy, man. So we got some people up in the building already, man. Stevie G said a quick send a search party for a rooster. Hey, I know. Hey, y'all feeling good right now? Oklahoma, hey, 3-0. Hey, that's what we said, right, Shawty? 3-0. Do better. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't 3-0,
you ain't 3-0, get better.
Get better, man. Hey, First Lady say she was worried about you, stat guy. Hey,
you should be. You should be. I turned the game off early. Didn't even watch every play.
Listen,
didn't even see my boy Mazio with a couple catches late in the game. Like
if y'all could have heard stat today. Ooh, hey, I'm glad Dr. Govan in the house. Go Dawgs. Hey, Dr. Govan, our guy Stat might need a couch session.
Consultation. He might need a consultation, man.
Right. Brian Drakeford in the building. What's going on, Brian? Appreciate you getting in, man. Like, again, a weekend full of things. Shawty, what stood out to you in the SEC footprint this weekend, man?
Wow, man. Well, where to start? I mean, I hate to start on, the South Carolina game, but I mean, that's where we are. I mean, it was definitely an upset. Mm-hmm. I think we found out two things. Well, a lot of time people say two things can be true. I think one thing is that, Vanderbilt is better than Vanderbilt you normally see, regardless of who won that game, win, lose, or draw. Vanderbilt is a much better coach team with better athletes.
Mm.
And also, South Carolina maybe wasn't as good as we thought they were. But they did lose their starting quarterback. That's a big loss.
Big loss. Big loss.
But, you know, when you can say it's Vandy, you know, once again, two things can be true in this situation.
Facts. Stat guy, I know it's been a rough 48 hours, my guy. Not talking about South Carolina. Tell me something that stood out from the SEC weekend, man.
Hey, man, nothing better on a Saturday than watching the Vols find a new way to snatch loss out of victory. Man, I loved it. You know, I'm in all kinds of group chats. As soon as they missed the field goal to send it into overtime, I just typed, "It's over." Just knew it was coming. Like, you knew Georgia was going to run that rock, and they did not want the smoke. But that was probably the biggest. To me, that was the best game of the entire weekend in the SEC. That Arkansas Ole Miss game didn't disappoint, but that Georgia-Tennessee game was nasty work as far as just a good game of football.
I'm with you on that, man. I heard somebody, a Clemson fan, told me today at work. He said, "Man, that might have been the game of the year so far." You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "Hey, I think it's a candidate." I have to think about that. We've had 3 good weekends of football, but yeah, Georgia Tennessee definitely didn't disappoint. As a Georgia fan, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, man, I'm up and down like a roller coaster on Saturday, dog. I'm like, it was so much so that once we stopped them in overtime to get the field goal, that's when I knew it was over. Like, I kind of knew it was over going into overtime, but because I told my boys, I said, all we need to do is win the coin toss. So we win the coin toss and we go defense first. I feel good. But I didn't feel good in the first quarter. I can tell you that. I didn't feel good. It wasn't that normal. Tennessee normally jumps out on Georgia. We rally a comeback. No, they was putting it together. It was starting to look a little Tuscaloosa from 2020.
We couldn't stop the bleeding. That's why I felt different, because it seemed like we never could stop the bleeding.
Right. But you're right. The state of Georgia won this weekend. Right. The Hawks, not the Hawks, but the Braves won. The Dawgs won. The Dream won. And yeah, that's right.
I won.
Go ahead and give credit to that other team in Atlanta that won this weekend.
Georgia State won too?
Nah, not that one. Them Yellow Jackets. Yellow Jackets got the dub.
I don't know. That's not SEC. I don't know what we're talking about here. It's just foreign language to me. So, but yeah, so I know you happy about that because Clemson lost. But listen, man, it was good. It started early. Alabama jumped on Wisconsin early. I don't even think it was really much to see other than Ty Simpson shouted, looking like he done figured some things out since he done left Tallahassee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I just think, it's early in the year, man. We got a lot of brand new quarterbacks with not a lot of experience. And some of these guys are going to take time to round into form. You know what I'm saying? So I expect as the teams ramp up into their SEC schedule, I also expect these quarterbacks to ramp up in their play. So I'm not selling. Well, I don't want to get into my segment with my show, but I'm not getting rid of all my Alabama stock just yet.
Right. And I think, of course, they did look bad the first week. I don't think anybody's running from that, but I didn't expect them to look that bad all year. I mean, this is Alabama. They still got talent, even if the dude couldn't coach, which I think he can coach. Whether that's the right fit or not is yet to be seen, but it's Alabama. When they showed that blue chip ratio over the last 4 years, Alabama's number 1 for talent according to the recruit rankings in the nation, followed by Georgia and Ohio State. So, stat guy, Alabama cruises over a Wisconsin team. You know what I'm saying? Did you expect any less?
No, I mean, that's one of those things where it's just like styles make fights. And that's just never, maybe 10 years, 15 years ago, when you knew Wisconsin was lining up in that power eye, they had 350, 360 across the offensive line, just massive, and just run it down your throat the whole game. I think maybe then it's a matchup, but with where the two teams are right now, it just is what it is. It's just never going to be a game.
And I'll be honest with you, man, that just to coach and stat, I don't know if you got a chance to watch a lot of the game, but I watched a lot of it. I'm telling you that just the speed of the game, they just didn't have enough team speed, period. I mean, they were just on different, levels.
Which has always been kind of, at least to my thought, even when they had Ron Dane back in there, it's like they never was more athletic than people. They just kind of bullied their way down the field. That's always been Wisconsin football. And now you got Luke Fickell in there. Is this one of them cases where he probably should have stayed at Cincinnati a little bit longer and got a different job, because he might be out of his depths, especially with the Oregon coming in, USC coming in? You got to think, when you're talking recruiting, teams changing conferences matter. You know what I'm saying? They already wasn't at the top, but at least they made it to a couple of Big Ten championships. You know what I'm saying? But now they in the middle of the road. He trying to change his style. It's almost like what was old Waffle House guy that tried to change Georgia Tech from after Paul Johnson, Jeff Collins. It's almost like he in a Jeff Collins situation, because he trying to go from bully ball, running it down your throat, to a more even keel style of play. So it might not be.
I think he went to a harder place to even recruit.
Harder than Cincy?
Yeah, Wisconsin, man. What's in Wisconsin?
The Big Ten.
But you got to stay in. I'm talking about recruiting. Like what it's cold in both places, but Wisconsin.
Didn't you take a visit up there, Shawty, when you was getting recruited? Oh, Nebraska. I thought it was one of them northern teams. You was like,
I was gonna go to. I had a visit to Notre Dame.
Oh, okay. And you knew, but for the weather, you just
right.
Like
I had just left Boston College. I was like, bro.
Well, Stan, what about you, man? Luke Fickell should have stayed. Kind of like, it's kind of like this Charlie Strong deal. You know what I'm saying? Charlie Strong had a good thing at Louisville before, when Louisville was Big East, not ACC, of course. And then they joined the ACC, but then he went to Texas, which was a bigger move, more money, but it wasn't the right fit.
Yeah, no, Luke Fickell should have stayed. And really, honestly, it's on the Wisconsin administration. You have to find a guy when you have a system like that and you're making a wholesale change at system. It's not just like, oh, we run this type of spread, we're gonna get this guy that does things a little different. That they've had a system in place for 20 years where they line up in the power eye and they run the ball at you 80 times a game and they see what happens. And the O-line leans on you, and then in the fourth quarter, they break some stuff. And so to go from that to a more pro-style offense is hard. You're recruiting different style offensive linemen, which in reality, you think about the guys that they have up there in the Big Ten country, they're more they're all really considered better run blockers than pass blockers anyway. They're bigger guys, they're not as athletic. And so because of that, you're making this change, but you don't have the personnel, and you're doing it in a conference where, depending on how the schedule breaks out, now that they got rid of East and West, they had it lucky. They were on kind of an easy side of the conference, but now, hey, here's everybody. You hope you only catch one of the 3 or 4 big dogs. And if you get more of them, then here's a whole bunch of losses. Unfortunately, their record's going to be good enough to where I don't see them getting rid of him, but they probably should.
Well, it didn't help that they added Alabama as their outer conference. You know what I'm saying? So, And then Alabama does what they do. Again, just more talented, like Shawty said, quicker, faster, stronger, just everything all around. Again, where Wisconsin used to hold the line advantage over a lot of people, they've even lost that, because I would say Wisconsin had a lot of old linemen for the run game, but now in the last 5 to 6 years, that's been Michigan. So even Michigan inside of their own conference has taken that. So it was, I gonna say it was an easy win for Bama, but it was a win they was never worried about. Now I got Ben G gets in. What's going on, Ben G? Appreciate you getting in, my guy. I'm glad you got in, because we're gonna talk a little bit about Texas, even though they didn't play a Power 4 team. I do want to take a look at that. My cousin in there, Will Smith. LSU pulled it out, man. You was right. Florida, it was a tough game. We're gonna get into that as well. But LSU pulled it out. Trojan Fight, our resident USC Trojan fan in the building. What's going on, Trojan Fight? Appreciate you showing up, man. Back to our guy Ben G. Now, we normally don't talk about the SEC teams such as Georgia when they play Austin Peay or whoever you playing, whether it's FCS, whether it's G4, because there's a lot of SEC to talk about. But I do want to ask y'all, man, and Ben G, since you're in the comments, like, what's going on? What's up with Arch? Is it just new to him? Because I don't even care about the score. Texas beat UTEP 27-10. I'm not like really concerned about that because I mean Georgia looked inept on offense against Austin Peay and then blew up at Tennessee. So I'm not worried. But Arch was 11 for 25 for 114 against UTEP. What are we doing here? Like, what's going on with Arch? Is it his mechanics? Is it mental? Like, what we doing? I mean, is he? This ain't even about being overrated or underrated or nothing. This is just literally about his physical performance. What's going on?
I think the game's still moving a little too fast for him. I think they need to try to simplify things, which doesn't really sound like the Stark thing to do. But I think they need to simplify the offense, and it becomes more of a one read. If it's not there, you run type deal, or more RPO where you have a mesh point, and then if a wide receiver's there, you pull it, you get the ball out quick. I think they need to really simplify that offense for him because clearly the game's just moving too fast for him right now.
Right. Shaw, do you think the same thing? Because I actually think it's a lot to do with his mechanics. It's like, even in the Georgia game where he didn't play well, when he threw the ball, he didn't it's like one of these things where you do it so much, your muscles remember. I tell my son this all the time so he don't shoot the ball the wrong way. It's like he's doing a sidearm a lot now. Not even to avoid the defense. That's just how he's throwing the ball. I don't know what's up with that.
So, I said this on another show, I'm going to take a little step backwards. And I know he can't do this and this can't be done, but this is what should have happened. But this is what Texas wanted. Arch should have took a red shirt year, played another year behind yours, and hopefully got better development. Now, I think that's the problem that has happened to Arch Manning at Texas. He's had the best training throughout his career, all these camps and everything ever since he's been coming. But he's gotten to Texas and developed or bad habits have not been corrected. And it's showing up. And I think right now it's nothing to do now. You can't do nothing but let them push through the growing pains. You can't really dumb it down because you got to dumb it down. You need to put somebody else in.
Right, but he did. Like Benji said, he did take a red shirt. His first year was a red shirt. He's a red shirt sophomore right now. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was
No. He's a red shirt sophomore right now. Yeah.
Well, he's 3 years into the system, regardless. Right. But his development, whatever habits he had that are bad were not corrected, or he's developed bad habits because the kid don't have the best training of the training. You can't say it can't be the training. So he's regressed in terms of his development. So they need to push him, let him push through the growing pains, continue to play, take his lumps, and let the chips fall where they lay. Because this was what Texas fans wanted, and they push yours out the door.
Right. So, but now I don't know. It was yours a junior last year.
Yeah, 1 more year as a Billy.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. I didn't know. So the reason why I say mechanics and you say it's so overrated, I had to push back on that. Vince Young threw like he threw his whole career. I guarantee you, you should know, turn on Arch tape. Arch has not always thrown like this. So the mechanics is not overrated in this case because he's changed how he throws. I don't care how he throws. Reggie Miller had a terrible shot for him, but it always went in. But that's how he shot from a kid to an old man. Like, you don't change your mechanics overnight and then all of a sudden now you're throwing different. That is not how he was throwing the ball last year. So, I mean, again, I know you don't want to hear the mechanics, but I don't care how he throws the ball if that's how he's going to do it.
I mean, he has regressed.
Right, he's regressed, right. He didn't do that against Georgia, he didn't. I'm just telling you, he didn't play great, but his throwing motion, because if he threw like this in high school, I would not have been high on, because I like, you always throw sidearm. I just think something is different than how he's been in the past. AP in the building. What's going on, AP? Appreciate it. I do. I'm still holding on. I want to be right about Arch. I think Arch is going to be a really good quarterback, but he just ain't showing it right now. And 11 for 25. So if it ain't the mechanics, then what is it, Benji?
He said
if it ain't the mechanics.
He said it was mental.
Inexperience.
Okay, so this is the thing, and I think when people say mental, what is it mental? What about mental? Don't just say mental. Give me something.
I think just inexperience. I think he's just a young, granted he's been there 3 years, but in terms of being a starter in big time college football, I mean, it's an adjustment period. Everybody, I know he's supposed to be special, but it could take some time. I see some things. I see he got some momentum. But when it come to fruition or develop, I don't know. But we just 2-3 games in. I think I'm gonna give him a little more time.
Right. Is there still speculation that Archer's hurt? I think Stark said that was just over. That wasn't the case. So.
I was gonna say 2 weeks ago, I wanted to pull up the gunner house and kidnap him. You know what I'm saying? Throw him in the trunk.
But,
you know what I'm saying? But
no,
a week later,
the difference is Gunner is still the same Gunner. He was the same Gunner. We just didn't like the way he throws the ball. Period.
For sure. Well, I don't even like he don't like his game.
Right. So his game ain't changed. You know what I'm saying? He just played against a different style defense, which we'll get into. So who else is Trojan Fight says, did you see former Georgia D 70-yard interception? Yeah, I saw it. Hey, kudos to him. Did you see Zach Branch had another touchdown? Like I told you in the offseason, we're not going to worry about throwing it to him down the field. We're going to get it to him and let him do his thing. And he's doing his thing in red and black. So, but yeah, man, listen, Texas got to figure something out because they got an elite defense. And the offense, again, the elite defense is only going to carry you so far. At some point, somebody going to bust wide open on you, no diddy, just like Tennessee did Georgia, and you got to be able to go with them. You know what I'm saying? And I think Texas has the skilled players to do that. But if it is mental, I don't know how does he get out of the slump? That's what I'm saying.
Shoot. Throwers got to keep throwing.
Throwers got to keep throwing. All right, man. So one of the other games that was actually good. Listen, SEC put on the show this weekend. I do think Tennessee, Georgia was up there, and of course my bias with that. But A&M Notre Dame didn't disappoint. A&M with the walk-off touchdown at the end. Well, not walk-off per se. They did have 13 seconds at the end. Notre Dame stat guy is A&M for real, because we say they always go win 8 games. Now they 3-0. How about that?
They're in a better spot than they've been the last couple of years because they finally beat Notre Dame. But you look at LaDavion Moss has looked good coming back from a brutal knee injury a year ago. So you got to like that as an Aggie fan. While the defense got some points hung on their head Saturday, I like the defense, especially under Elko. He's a defensive guy. My question is, while Marcel Reed didn't look bad Saturday, I do think that he's going to be the downfall to them making the playoffs. I could see them winning 9 games this year. I just can't get them to 10 or 11 because I think Marcel Reed loses them a football game.
Shaw, do you down on Marcel Reed or you like him? Because he's super athletic. He just Stat just say he can't throw the ball.
I like him, but I think Stat hit it on the head. But I won't condemn the kid as much. I just think it's just certain throws at certain times. I just don't think he's going to be able to make ultimately in certain games. But he has enough where he can definitely hurt you. I tell you what, this is the thing that I think Notre Dame suffers from, and a lot of other good teams are suffering from: quarterback play. Quarterback play is really hindering teams from playing complementary football with the good defenses that they have. And then when you have great defenses, which you want to lean on, you can't come into a game like that and give up 40 points. You just can't do it because you're not technically good enough offensively. At least you haven't shown you're not built offensively to play that way. And I think Notre Dame suffered from that syndrome, kind of sort of like what we did, but fortunately we was able to pull it off. Right
now, Notre Dame does have a good rushing attack with Jeremiah Love and then Jadarian Price, and BNG is saying that Texas A&M's run defense may be a liability going forward. Now they gave up about 147 to Notre Dame, which ain't bad. I mean, when you're talking about a team that wants to run the ball,
Love a stud.
Yeah, so I want to see them against more because I personally don't think Notre Dame is as good as the nation think. I think they're good, but I don't think they're as good as the nation thought they was. Like, some people had them in the Natty and all that. I get that they beat Georgia and they went to the Natty last year, but the way they were beating teams last year, it wasn't convincing to the point where the next round you thought for sure they was gonna win type of deal. Like when Ohio State was beating people, you thought for sure the next round Ohio State was going to win. You know what I'm saying? When Texas won in the first round against Clemson, or whenever they played Clemson, you thought for sure Texas had a chance to win the next round. Like Notre Dame didn't beat people that way. So when they came back this year and they had a different quarterback, albeit I think he can throw better than the last guy. I just don't know if he's the gamer, the leader, you know, because it's something that's been said about having that gamer back there. You know what I'm saying? So Texas A&M, we'll see. Maybe they're a 10-win team this year.
And stat now, we talking about teams who like the media, everybody like to show love to, like they like to say Texas get a lot of love. Now think about this. Notre Dame coming off a loss at 0-1, didn't play, move up the rankings last week. Move up the rank. Didn't even play, coming off a loss and moved up the rankings. Now they 0-2. And they still in the top 25.
Bruh.
Man, come on.
Right. And I saw Twitter accounts. They got a good YouTube. Shout out to the college football nerds. They give a lot of stats and stuff. But they was like, it ain't 25 teams better than Notre Dame. I ain't got to do with that. Notre Dame better win some games. I don't care what you think about them.
Yeah, you can feel how you want to feel. At some point, you got to look at the numbers. My bad. Go stat. My bad.
I was going to say, that's my issue with it. First time in AP poll history that an 0-2 team is ranked in the top 25. But you look at it, it's like it doesn't make sense because I get they've lost to ranked teams, but at some point you got to win football games. And they haven't proven they can win a football game yet. Now they're going to start cupcaking the rest of their schedule. And what I hate about it, because they stayed in the top 25, they're going to slowly gain 2 or 3 spots every week, beating the sister of the poor U. And when the first college football playoff thing comes out, they're going to be 14, 15, and they're going to jump them up to 12 in the playoff poll.
How do you move up and you lose? Because then you didn't play the week because you were off. You know what I'm saying? You're coming off a loss and then play and still move up.
So this is what they got going forward. Purdue next weekend. Then they got to go to Arkansas. And I can tell you like this. Arkansas might not have a defense like Texas A&M to slow them down, but I tell you what, Notre Dame better be ready to put up. Notre Dame better be ready to put up some offense because Bobby Petrino said if they lose it ain't going to be because of his side of the ball. He can tell you that. Then they play Boise State, NC State. Then they got to see USC, who currently is leading the nation in total yards. At least I think so. I know it after week 2 they were. I got to see what they did this past weekend. But as of after week 2, they were leading the nation, the Power 4 in yards per game. Then you're right. They go Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford. So they in. So whatever they are after they play the Trojans is what they're going to be the rest of the season because ain't none of them last guys going to beat them.
Now, I will say Arkansas could be tricky. Southern Cal definitely is going to be tricky. And don't sleep on NC State.
You think CJ Bailey and company can take them?
Right now, Notre Dame hasn't shown that they can win a football game. NC State has. They won 3 of them. So we'll see. Notre Dame's got a lot of work to do, but Notre Dame can't drop another one. If they drop another one, playoffs cooked, forget about it. Yeah. They can come hang out with me on my couch because that's where I'm going to be on the playoffs. So
that schedule won't be strong enough. I don't think it'll be strong enough.
Gotcha. Benji says ACC is a meat grinder. You lose to an in-conference Miami team. Well, Notre Dame's technically they only in the ACC for every other sport but football, so it don't really, it said that's like beating the UGA on the road if you can beat it. AP says a lot of teams aren't playing up to their potential due to people crying about NIL and a lot of prima donnas and bull-esque coaches not being the captain of their ship. I think there's something to that. Like if you're paying a kid, and me and Stat had this conversation about the South Carolina game, and we'll talk about it later. But when you bring these kids in and you paying them a lot of money, sometimes just for optics and donors and all that, they're like, hey, man, we're paying this kid money, man, put them on the field. And these kids might not even be ready. So I could see some of that not having total control of their ship like that. So Trojan Fight says also, how does Tennessee not drop any spots? Sure, a close loss to Georgia, but they still should drop. We're going to talk about that as well. We're going to talk about that. So Cuzzo say that's what happens when you underestimate teams that's not ranked, and the teams that are ranked get whooped. It's been a lot of that happening. So next up, man, we're gonna talk about this LSU Florida game. If I'm not mistaken, DJ Lagway just threw another interception and LSU just caught it. So hey, now I listen again. I was high on Arch, still high on Arch. I just want to know what's going on because I want my prediction to be right. Not to say I wasn't high on Lagway, I just didn't think he was the guy everybody else thought he was. I thought he was a really good quarterback. I told Stat Saturday, was it Saturday night or Sunday, Stat, that I told you I don't know if Lagway can read coverages, Shawty. The reason why I say that is
that's very fair.
You know, the reason why I say that, if you're watching the game and you watching the 5 interceptions, they're not interceptions where it's one-on-one, the guy makes a play on the ball. He underthrew the ball right to the DB. He throwing in it. 3 of his interceptions was in the triple coverage.
So
the other 2 interceptions came where the defender is step for step, and then the safeties basically he didn't see the safety or the star or whatever nickel, and they come into the picture. So I'm like, can he actually read coverages?
So I would say this, and I saw, it was so much football to digest, and I think this definitely happened on one of Lagway's, possibly 2. So what I have seen and what I have noticed, what a lot of defenses have started doing this year, what they're doing is they're showing man, and they playing a lot of man, and the quarterbacks are picking up on it. But once again, these new young quarterbacks, because you paying them that money, they got to play. They are starting to drop defenders off into passing lanes.
Like a matchup zone in basketball.
So when they so used to maybe sitting in the belly and looking and reading that person, when that man drop off, they throwing that slant, and they're just picking up all these slants and quick posts because they dropping even defensive linemen. They dropping defensive linemen off in passing lanes, and I noticed that watching this weekend, and I saw at least maybe 3 or 4 quarterbacks throw picks because they were dropping people off into passing lane that are normally not there in man coverage.
Yeah, I definitely seen some of that. And now for Lagway in Saturday only, I don't know about the previous 2 Saturdays, but the Saturday only, these was happening 15, 20 yards down the field. Of course, some of these, like the 2 of the interception he threw in the triple coverage, the triple coverage was there. I guess in that situation, he just trusts his arm more than he actually should. But in the other 2, it's like, again, he didn't see the safety. Like you said, it might have been where you passing a guy off once he leaves your zone, and it looks like man because he running step for step, and then when he get to a certain point, he passes him off to the other DB. But all of them were that situation. None of them were, oh man, that DB was so good, he just made a good play on the ball.
Well, you got to think about Cole too. He ain't had no count.
To Ben G's point, he was worried about hearing DJ was hurt, and he was hurt, and this has been a sports hernia that they said has been lingering since high school. He didn't do a lot of off-season work. He didn't do a lot of fall camp. He wasn't in spring ball stat guys. But at some point, to AP point, you paying this guy a lot of money. What do you do? If you Napier, your job on the line, what do you do?
You make DJ happy and you take him with you when you go back to the Sun Belt next year.
Woo.
I'm telling you, I promise you right now,
they have enough money.
Neither one of them are in Gainesville come spring practice.
Stevie G said whoever hyped DJ and Arch needs to their privileges taken away. Hey, not for nothing, these last couple of quarterback classes, these 5-star guys, these guys that they rated, they ain't been all that. That's why again you should do your own evaluation, not just trust a 5-star. You know what I'm saying?
And I hate to say it, man. I don't want to go off into a tangent, so I'm gonna be very quick on this. But a lot of people have their own opinion. It's just as mine. But that's why I think a lot of these, these 7-on-7 camps, they're starting to do more detriment than help because they're meeting too many players to be misevaluated.
Well, I think this goes, but that what you just said goes back to another point you made a year or 2 ago when we was talking about how kids aren't really learning football calls, plays, coverages. They're looking over to the sideline and they see this big old sign look like a Daffy Duck, on one side, and they look, like it ain't as shown on TV, but there's still coaches and sidelines that do this stuff, so they know. Okay, I'm looking at Daffy Duck. That's the play, whatever. Like and Stat guy know this. I'm about a processor, dog. That's why I am still high on Carson Beck. I want somebody that can process your defense pre-snap and post-snap, because I don't care how much talent you have. If you can't read coverages, you can't process defenses. Guess what? It's gonna look, and when you play like talent, it's gonna look the way it looked against DJ Lagway. Shout out to LSU, but on the other side, they got Nussmeier, who I really like, and I'm not saying that Nuss has played great. He's played a little bit better than DJ, but their offense ain't rolling either. So they ain't got no run game.
Defense is balling.
They defense balling. But what's going on with the offense? Why he can't run the ball? I mean, Florida got a pretty good defense, but they ain't been able to run the ball. They run it enough to keep you honest, but they ain't had no breakouts. You know what I'm saying?
I think they got to.
Go ahead.
I'll let that go ahead. You finna say something?
No, you're right. No, you good.
No, I think have we switched to LSU, or are we on?
Yeah,
LSU?
we on LSU floor. Yeah.
I really think they have found a formula, and that formula just happened to be their defense. They're finally playing a defense, and they can play a little bit better complementary football, and they often don't have to have all that pressure. Just be somewhat competent. You know what I'm saying? And you got a quarterback who, when he needs to pull the trigger, can pull the trigger. And I think they got a great balance right now. That's why right now they're one of the top team, in my opinion, the top team in the SEC.
Right. I think Brian Kelly's doing what needs to be done to win. And as a fan of LSU, I know y'all, for those fans, I know it don't look like you want it to look. You got one of the nation, if not the nation's top passing talent. And you got receivers, you got skill talent, but y'all not putting up a lot of points. So y'all want to be y'all putting up a lot of points. Brian Kelly said, I'm just trying to win. Like, that's why he went off on the reporters. Like, we winning. That's what we doing. We here to win. That's what we do. What we say, Shawty, we count W's and L's. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we count W's as a stat. You think, like I'm kind of with Shawty. I think they done found a formula, and they going to ride this formula till they don't need it, till they down 2-3 touchdowns and they need to unleash it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the other thing too is you're looking at a brand new wide receiver room built with transfers, and maybe that just hasn't meshed yet. I mean, eventually this thing could crack open,
right? And
they could drop the hammer on people and start averaging 40 points a game, and no one's touching them because of the defense.
Because you got the trigger man,
right?
They got the quarterback, but right now the defense is just different, and I really like the DC. He's kind of a different mind. He brings a bunch of exotic blitzes from all over the place, drops his D lineman into coverage. Like, he just does weird things. And he said last year, I don't have the pieces to do what I want to do. So here's a 4-3 defense. Good luck to us. Now this year, he feels like he has athletes all over the field, and we're seeing what his defense can do, and it's doing the thing.
Right, and shout out to DC Baker down there at LSU. You finally got Harold Perkins looking like the Harold Perkins we all came to know. And it wasn't just the Clemson game. It wasn't just the Knicks. He looked good against Florida too. Trojan Fight says, is there a game upcoming for Florida where they must win, or Napier's gone that same week, kind of like how UCLA handled losing to New Mexico, how Virginia Tech handled losing to Old Dominion? You think so, Stat? There's a game coming up on Florida's schedule?
So I brought this up last Wednesday. The game that he gets fired that Saturday night or Sunday morning, if they lose, is Mississippi State the week before Georgia. If they lose to Mississippi State, ball game, pack up your bags, you out of here. I've said all along, I didn't think he was going to make it through the year last year. They proved me wrong, and I've been on it since before the season started. There was zero chance he makes it through this year. But that Mississippi State game, they might not win another game before that. So I think that's the game that is the nail in the coffin for them if they lose.
Shawty, what you think? You think it's Mississippi State, or you think if he loses there, then he plays the Dogs and lose to the Dogs, he going after the Dogs, or do you think he don't make it to the Dog game if he lose to the other Bulldogs?
So I would say, again, I'm gonna hedge my bet on this. Because I think what that guy said, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. But what I will say is, and I've been telling y'all from the beginning of the season, this ain't the same Mississippi State.
So that's what I'm saying. So like, if it ain't the same Mississippi State, the low man on the rung, then it shouldn't get. But they still Florida though.
I think right, but I think even if you were to lose to Mississippi State, at the end of the day, you got to send your best shot against them Dogs. It's just a cocktail party rivalry game. Now, if we mash you and punish you after Mississippi State, you won't make it through the season. But you can't fire the staff and expect whoever to come through to play Georgia that week.
I told Stat at the beginning of the season, I thought that was the game. If we win that game in Jacksonville, that's when he get fired. But listening to Stat, I'm gonna tell you why I think they could do it after the Mississippi State game. Even though, again, like you said, this ain't the same Mississippi State. Jeff Lebby has done some good things. Blake Shapen is playing good. I'm interested to see how the Dogs handle it when we take on Mississippi State. But I think it could be because looking at it right now, you can't think that the administration thinks they can beat Georgia, right? Like, just looking at it right now, they probably like, man, if we keep playing this way, we're not gonna beat Georgia. At least if they fire everybody, they got to.
I don't know. We look vulnerable the first 2 weeks, and technically, some people we should have lost that game.
Right, but I'm saying, if you think about firing a guy, if you lose to Georgia, then donors are gonna be like, we lost to Georgia with the coach we already had. But if you fire a guy before the game, then you say, okay, I ain't gonna fault y'all for the Georgia loss because it is Georgia and you got to.
That's all reverse psychology tree.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying.
But I will say this. So Shawty, you talk all the time about programs need to get to a place where it's natty or bust. And whether they should be or not, Florida has that mentality. You lose to Mississippi State, your coach gets fired. Just like
let me ask you this: you lose to Mississippi State, and what if you come back and beat Georgia in that week?
But if you're a Florida fan,
I'm gonna give you no. I got this one. Let me hold on. I got this one. You said if we come back and beat Georgia, you think that's gonna save his job?
Yeah, at that point, what's your record? What's the record? What you 2-3? I mean, 3-2.
You want me to tell you why it don't matter? Because he has a history of not living up to the billing, as not living up to standards. And I'm gonna give you a prime example that was the same scenario. Who still got fired? Who won the Georgia-Florida game in 2015? The Dogs. The Dogs.
Well, I mean, what I'm getting at is, I'm just saying,
won 10 games and he still got fired because you know what? They had enough.
But what I'm saying is, if you lose to Mississippi State, and you win the Georgia game, they're not going to fire you after the Georgia game, right?
Oh, you saying it'll happen later on in the year?
Well, I'm just saying he might run the table. I don't know.
Rick won 10 games his last year.
So you think if he loses
to
Mississippi,
Florida administration is way crazier than ours.
So if he loses to Mississippi State, he would have 2 losses this year, 3 losses.
I think he fired already.
Hold on. Okay. But if he loses to Mississippi State, how many losses would he have at that point? 2 or 3?
If he wins the next couple of weeks, because he doesn't play
Mississippi State. If he loses Mississippi State. Say he wins and he loses to Mississippi State. How many losses would he have? 3. And he run the table. That means he finishes 9-3, which was better than last year. You think they still fire him?
They play Miami this week.
No, I know. I get. I'm just saying if they wins Miami, lose to Mississippi State, and run the table.
I'm going with the thought that because of he was already teetering coming into the year, right? And I know South Florida is definitely good, and they're better than they've been. But that kind of loss at a program like Florida, they don't care how good South Florida is. For one, it's an in-state school. You don't lose to other in-state schools, especially the G5. I personally think they're already proceeded down that path.
They could be teetering on a playoff. I'm just saying, teetering on the playoff.
Mathematically, right.
And the reason why I say the Mississippi State game is because it won't be, that isn't their 3rd loss. That Mississippi State game is going to be their 5th or 6th loss of the season. And what are you supposed to do at that point?
See,
But to your
right,
point,
Shawty was saying if that's only their third loss, and
Now, if
then
you backload the pistol like that, I know when you shoot, you're gonna kill everything. I ain't know you were backloading the pistol.
I
like
personally
that.
think I don't think 9-3 with that loss to South Florida. I don't think that helps the case because again, it's a similar situation to Marritt. Marritt was winning 10 games, and it was technically better than the prior year. The year before, he went 6-7, then he went 10-3, 9-3 in the regular season or something like that.
If he make the playoffs, I mean,
and 9-3 ain't gonna make the playoffs though.
Fair enough. I'm just saying you teetering. I don't know what we don't know what I'm just saying mathematically. I don't know probably because listen, just real talk to everyone's point. You know how we've been talking about like we don't know what's going. This is a crazy season.
Right.
Like all the teams who like it's really a chance that a lot of the teams who we think are really good are supposed to be good are just not that good this year.
I'll say this to that point. If they finish 9-3, to your point, that's the only chance that he has to save his job. You know why? Because then with that record, if he loses to Mississippi State, he will have beaten Miami, he will have beaten Georgia, and he will have beaten Ole Miss, and he will have beaten Florida State.
And Texas.
All ranked teams.
And Texas. So if he does that, that's the chance that he has. Again,
that's a hell of a schedule.
That's what I'm saying. So
that was my point of saying Mississippi State. He's losing a whole bunch of games before then. That's the
I guess. But get what? Texas don't look that great. Ole Miss don't look. My whole point, like we don't nobody look like what the moniker says. You know what I mean?
So okay, let's last point so we can roll.
Even those teams not looking great, Florida looks bad.
Right. So Benji says, can we judge Arch in year 5 or 6 like we did past title winning quarterbacks? Well, Benji, to push back on that, Stetson got judged before he was a 5th and 6th year quarterback. He got judged in his 3rd and 4th year. So it comes with the territory, my guy. When you're
talking about a walk-on versus a
and Will Howard, Will Howard lost his job at K-State, and he was judged for that before he won in Natty. So that's just what it is, my guy. Hey, when you the head gunslinger, it don't matter what program you at, you getting judged. Now, it don't matter if you at Rutgers or you at Texas. You the head quarterback slinger. You just said when you at Texas, you got more of that spotlight. So, the last LSU said Will's of the LSU guy said I don't think we played our best game, and BNG says not buying that defense. DSGB84 in the house. What's going on, DSGB? Appreciate you pulling up, my guy. Genesis in the building. How about them Dawgs? That's right, man. What's going on? Hey, man. Next up, we're gonna talk about that Arkansas Ole Miss. Taylor Green, he out here slanging that thing around, ain't he, Shawty? Hey, man, me and you both been high. I think you was a little higher than him on them than I was. What you think?
I know talent when I see it, man.
But they can't get over the hump though.
Yeah, so it goes back to what I kind of was saying about our team, the Bulldogs, and also Notre Dame. When you have that type of team, the way your team is set up, you can't afford to play anybody that's worth a grain of salt and give up 40 points. You just can't do that, coach, and expect to win. I mean, you just can't.
No, unless you're Ole Miss, because Ole Miss is used to those type of games. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm just talking about just generally and playing football. Giving up 40 points and you win that game, you got to feel some kind of way. You got to be happy to win that game. Right, you got to be happy to win that game if you give up 40 points and still win. So just from that standpoint, I thought the thing I would say, we talk about Sam Pittman all the time, him being on the hot seat and things like this. But what I will say is at the end of the day, if ultimately he gets fired, you have to look at the way you win and lose games. And right now, the way Arkansas is playing, they look like a very competent team. They look like they a piece or two away from, maybe getting over that hump. So that's one thing I will say about Sam Pittman. I'm very hard on him, but I can say I do like the way his team looks thus far this year, even in the loss.
Right. So with that says that the detractors, because there's a faction of Arkansas fans that won't say I'm going regardless of what happened this year. I know because we was on the Hard Wall podcast. We'll be in the comments. We see it. They don't care what happened. They want Sam Pittman gone. With a guy like Bobby Petrino being your OC, knowing that the offense hasn't been great. And now in the second year of that, he was the guy in Fayetteville before. Now he's back, and in his second year, Taylen Green. Listen, man, Taylen Green this past Saturday went 22 for 35 for 305, a tutty, and then 14 rushes for 115 yards and another touchdown. So with what Shawty said is they do look better, but it's primarily not just say the defense is boo-boo, but it's primarily because of the offense and Bobby Petrino. Does he get credit for that? Because he did make the hire.
No, we don't get. I'm pretty sure the administration said, "Hey, go hire Bobby Petrino, so when we fire your ass in a couple of years, we got our head coach back." Look, I'll tell you this: Arkansas.
That because you got rid of him. Yeah.
Arkansas is a prime example of they better win some football games. I think they're going to play a lot of teams close, but can they get over the hump and win enough games? Personally. I think Sam Pittman's going to look great in Columbia, South Carolina next year, coaching our offensive line.
Yeah, Athens, Georgia.
But that's just what we're saying. But
it's never too late to come home.
Don't speak that.
Coach, I got some pushback on that. I'm gonna tell you about next week. I mean, Susan, go ahead, Coach.
I do. I think Arkansas is good, but we talk about these SEC schedules, and they're all gauntlets. I mean, Florida's is by far probably the hardest. But everybody's got like
Arkansas is right there with them, dog.
Everybody's got that 4 or 5 game window, and Arkansas just started theirs. So what they do over these next 5 to 6 weeks is going to make or break Sam Pittman's life, and he's just got to win some football games against good teams. I think the offense will keep him in it. I just don't trust the defense to get the stop they need.
Now, from the Ole Miss side of things, I'm gonna tell you what this as a Dawg fan who at least we get to play him at home. It don't warm my heart that Simmons didn't even play. They backup play. He threw for Chambliss. Simmons played, my bad. He threw a pass, but he didn't play but like one drive. And like I say, he handed off most of that drive. Chambliss was the backup. Chambliss 21 for 29 for 353 yards and a touchdown. And he ran for another 62 yards on 15 carries. I mean, we've always said Lane Kiffin is a good offensive mind, but is it to the point now where he just plug and play? Like, it don't matter who the quarterback is. We don't have to look at it and say, oh, we like this kid. Like, is it just like Mike Leach? We never really knew a lot of Mike Leach quarterbacks, but we knew he was going to throw for about 4,000. Is Lane Kiffin there now?
You know what, Coach? I don't know if it's plug and play, and I'm gonna simply say that because I think you have to get a kid that matches what you do, because the type of quarterback that we have, like I be seeing these other quarterbacks around the country. I'm just like, these quarterbacks look be so dynamic, right? But we just generally go after this kind of like, no, hold on, let me clear this up, because the quarterback we go off are highly rated quarterbacks.
It's the style,
but there you go. So it's just all about what fits your system is what I'm getting at.
Right.
I don't think it's just a plug.
You think he's been really good at picking quarterbacks
that
fit his system. Got you.
Yes. Right. But that is a plug and play guy. Like you brought up Mike Leach. You bring up Lane Kiffin. He goes and gets guys that he can plug and play with for that simple scenario. I mean, the guy Trinidad Jameis.
You can't go get anybody. Plug and play meaning it's the system. I mean, you can just go get anybody. No, they getting specific guys that need that match exactly. Because what I'm saying is some of the quarterbacks who we may get is not going to fit that system.
I don't know. Maybe stats saying like you said like Georgia, we always get a 4-star quarterback, if not 5-star. Like that's not a question. We don't have 3 stars outside of Stetson Bennett. And you're right, those style of, like I think like the Ryan Montgomerys and the Jared Curtises, those guys, I think they do fit anybody's system. But like I'm with you. Stockton doesn't fit the amount of throwing, the type of throwing that Lane wants. But I think Stats saying he just need. That's what I meant. That's what Stockton. Yeah, Stockton. Gunner Stockton.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Stats saying it ain't necessarily you got to go out and get this dynamic pocket passer. You just gotta have a pocket passer. It doesn't matter which pocket passer. It's like, let's just get us a pocket passer that might be a little bit.
Ole Miss,
yeah.
No, he generally has 2-dimensional quarterbacks that are very well at both things that they do, meaning running and passing.
They're not true dual threat though,
but they're very good at both things they do.
But it's like like Jackson Dart was good at running. but nobody was saying like Sellers, we got to stop his legs. Just like nobody's saying for Sellers, we got to stop his arm. Everybody that played that I don't know if you can name a quarterback where you had to prepare.
Maybe I misunderstood it then, because Sellers, what I'm saying is like Sellers wouldn't be
not in Lane Kiffin's system because he's not a dynamic passer. Right. All of Lane Kiffin's guys are passers. They're not they're passers who are very mobile. That's a different thing. Like CJ Stroud was very mobile.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like he gets them to be where they're very comfortable and willing to run the ball. Whereas look at Bryce Underwood up in Michigan. Super athletic, but he don't want to run the ball. But I think if he played for Lane Kiffin, he would be another one of these quarterbacks that could be in that system because he can really.
Last week he ran the ball 19 times. That's why I was so mad. The first leg, and why wouldn't you use your leg? Then you come back the next week and rush for over 100 yards.
Right, and that I don't know what Trinidad Chambliss was ranked, but I'm pretty sure maybe he was a 4-star. I don't know, but
he came from Division II Ferris State. He won the national championship last year.
For Lane Kiffin, I will say this to your point, Sean. For Lane Kiffin, you have to yes. Do they all typically have legs? Yes, but if they can't throw all the throws, like directional throwers can't play for Lane Kiffin. That's why I guess you would say it's not a plug and play. I guess to your point, like direct straight line throwers can't, because you got to be able to layer the ball to play in Lane Kiffin's system. You know what I'm saying? So
you got to fit his. You can't just put anybody in there. It takes a certain guy.
But Lane Kiffin isn't going to come after Lenoris because he knows he doesn't fit his system.
Right, that's the point.
I got you.
Where I say it's plug and play is Lane Kiffin knows who he needs. He goes and gets all those guys. So next man up is ready to rock and roll. There's no, we have to change.
There's no.
It's the difference in the definition of plug.
Right. Now I see what you're saying, Stat, because you saying it like the next guy, we ain't like, we got to give him a year. Like it's like
he's gonna be ready to roll.
If he's on Ole Miss's roster, he's ready to play.
I got you. Okay.
Now could that say more about Lane developing quarterbacks than just his system?
Right. It does.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So after this, to close this Arkansas Ole Miss conversation out, even though they look good in the loss, does it say more about the loss for Arkansas or the win for Ole Miss? Because we all kind of wrote, I ain't gonna say we all did. I'm gonna say a lot of people wrote Ole Miss off because they lost Jackson.
I mean, it showed Ole Miss can put up some points even with a backup quarterback. And on the flip side of the coin, Arkansas gave up way too many points to a backup quarterback, especially for a team that might be fighting for their head coach's life. So if I had to pick a side, it showed more for Ole Miss.
Okay.
I would have to say, just in my opinion, I think I'm leaning towards Arkansas, just because just based off the type of fight that they put up in games and how they're being so irrelevant, they actually had a shot, a very nice shot to win this game, to take them to 3-0, which would have been great at this particular point in the season. So I really think it says more from Arkansas and just let you know that maybe Ole Miss is not as, like I've been saying, like the monikers are just maybe not as good as everybody think we want them to be.
Right. I think both things can be true. Because like we kind of said about some of the other teams earlier, we will get to see what if they play like this because it's a rivalry game, because Ole Miss is kind of a rival for Arkansas. If they play like this because it's a rival, or that offense is just back like that, because they got Memphis next week, but then they follow that up with Notre Dame, who, even if Notre Dame ain't as good as, if I don't think they're as good or whatever, they still got a defense. So again, they gave up some to Texas A&M. But they got Notre Dame, then they got Tennessee, then they got Texas A&M, and it don't stop for Arkansas. Then they got Auburn, they got Mississippi State, then they finish with LSU. So from here on out, Memphis is the easiest team that they play. So we'll get to see if they actually can put up, some numbers and stuff. Next game, man, it's them Dawgs traveling to Knoxville. Listen, man. Hey, y'all gonna get some real in-depth tomorrow, but we're gonna breeze over it today. I'll just say this. Going into it, I didn't want to get into a shootout with Tennessee. Now, if I don't know anything else, I know that we can, if need be, win a shootout. I'm not saying we will always win it, but I'm not saying I don't ever want to win a shootout, but we can win a shootout. You know what I'm saying? So now we got questions on the defense, but I think I told Stat I think there are fixable issues on the defense. I'll go into the actual issues I think we got tomorrow night on Respect the Hedges at 8 p.m. on the Fanatic and the Respect the Hedges YouTube channel if you want to tune in. But I think that's the thing. I think our defense didn't play as good as we wanted it to. Our offense played better than we thought they would play against a good Tennessee defense. So what you thinking there, Stat? Because I think didn't you pick Tennessee to win this thing?
No, I'm just talking a bunch of trash in y'all's chat on Tuesday night, saying y'all gonna hear a bunch of Rocky Top. But you know, I backtracked that real quick come Wednesday, and I rode with them dogs. But no, for me, it's just like to Georgia and Tennessee's a rival without maybe being a rival.
Right.
The game's been hyped up at least these last 4 or 5 years, but you come out in front of 109,000 people, you punch them in the mouth, go up 21-7, and you don't put them away. And it's like, to me, it makes you wonder as Tennessee fans, when do they start asking the questions that Georgia fans were asking under Mark Richt? Is this enough, or is it time to make a change?
I think that's some valid stuff. I will say for a Tennessee fan, I would assume that they're not quite there yet because Tennessee beat Alabama. You know, Tennessee had lost to Alabama like 17 straight years or 18 or something. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then they done beat them, if I'm not mistaken, 2 of the last 3 years.
I'm gonna go a little even deeper than that. You just got the ship right from Philip Farmer. You
and they made the playoffs last year.
Right, you don't went through 1,000 coaches that bump your head. You finally got the guy in, and he don't brought you back to national prominence to the point you was a playoff team last year, and still had a potential to be a playoff team this year. So that's just part of the. I mean, I get what you're saying, but based off just their past, I don't think you make the change as fast based off what they just went through to finally get a guy.
Because they was in just a
limbo.
They was more in limbo, though. They was in a whirlwind going the wrong way.
So, also to answer the question from earlier, I think it was from Trojan Fight. Tennessee 100% should have been dropped. I don't care that they lost in overtime to a top 5 team. You were up 21-7.
Right.
You choked the game away. Down the poles you slide. Like, I don't. Me, it doesn't make sense. Like, you were up. You game in hand. And you didn't do what you need to do to get the W at the end of the day. You got to go somewhere. You can't stay here.
What about that ranking question? Also, how does Tennessee not drop any spots? That's what Trojan Fight did ask earlier in the show. What do you think, Shawty?
I'm gonna say this simply because one thing that I respect out of the coaches poll and the AP poll, what they're doing. And I said a little something negative about it, but overall, I like what they're doing. Every week, win or loss, they moving people up and down based off adjustments. And I'm just going to be honest. That means they're watching your performance and what the eye test is saying. And with that being said, Tennessee should have beat Georgia. That's why I think they stay packed, even though in a loss in overtime.
I think they're doing they're definitely inputting eye tests, which normally only comes in the CFP rankings. They said Tennessee definitely, they put up all for 497 yards, 96 yards on Georgia's defense. And they had the game. It was Georgia was answering every time, but they definitely had control of the game for definitely the first quarter. Some of the second half as well. They had a shot to beat. If they hit the field goal, then maybe it's a different story. I get your point. All of that's a part of the game. So if you don't come out on top, you lose, you drop, especially if somebody behind you wins the game. It's kind of like this. It's kind of similar. They're doing the same thing that they did to Notre Dame. They say, okay, Notre Dame is 0-2, but they lost on the road to 2 top-ranked teams, so they played well. Those were close games, not top-ranked for Texas A&M, but still ranked. I think they're 10 now. So I think it's the same thing.
And I'm saying that go to the point that I was making earlier. What I'm saying is Notre Dame, they went 0-1, right?
And then
they were off. and they still moved up. Even though they didn't play, plus coming off a loss, they still moved up.
Right.
So for a team to not move coming off a loss, overtime to a higher ranked team that they really should have won if you saw the game. I mean, you can from that rationale. I mean, I can go.
I guess my problem with getting on board with that is because I saw the game, they didn't win, and I hate moral victories. There's no we should have won. Like, end of the day, yeah, they probably should have won, but they didn't make the play they needed to make. So for that, you got to get punished.
Right. AP said, my boy Stat got hell, man. He said he gonna fire your ass if he the AD. Don't win and see what happens.
hey, AP, make sure
you count results at the end of the day.
AP, make sure you tune in Thursday and you can hear what I would do if I was the AD at South Carolina. And I can promise you this, it's vicious. I do want to ask y'all a question about this game. If you don't want to answer, you want to save it till tomorrow night, that's cool. The throw by Gunnar Stockton on 4th down for the touchdown to tie the game in the bucket. Just a beautiful pass when you needed it. Game on the line. What was the last pass that comes to memory for y'all from Georgia that could rival that kind of moment?
To be honest, I can think of a couple. I think that one was good. The problem is that's the 3rd game of the season. We needed that pass. We don't get that pass. It's 4th, and I immediately think it's been something in between, but just like right away, it was the first pass in overtime against Alabama. Matthew Stafford to Mikey Henderson, first play, dropping in the bucket right over the defender. But also could say David Green to Michael Johnson. I could say CA had one against Georgia Tech. Actually, in the Georgia Tech 6 overtime, 7 overtime, 8 overtime, whatever. Last we down 2 touchdowns. If we don't get a score on the last 2 drives, then we don't go to overtime. Carson hits Dominic Levitt in between 5 defenders right there again. So it just again, I think this was an amazing throw. And it's crazy. Georgia's had a lot of these. I don't like, as a fan, I don't want to live through a whole bunch of these last second, that type thing. But shout out to Gunner, man. It was a hell of a throw. Hell of a catch by London Humphreys, but he dropped it in that bucket. So that's what I say about it. Shawty, what you say?
Yeah, man, I was going to go with the one from our co-host, our panelist, Corey Allen, against Georgia Tech in the back of the end zone. I was going to go with that one. It's a couple, like you said, it's a couple, but that's the one I'm gonna go with. Yeah, man, hell of a throw, hell of a catch. I'm gonna save it for tomorrow night.
There it is. So the last game we're gonna talk about is that South Carolina Vandy again. Stat Guy is gonna talk about not just the game, but what needs to happen going forward. We're just gonna talk about the game. We talked about it. Shawty brought it up, and we expanded upon it with Notre Dame not still in the top 25, Tennessee not falling. And we talked about they're looking at how you lose, how you win, things of that nature. South Carolina, I don't think a loss to Vandy hurts us more than how you lost to Vandy. I get, and they're going to take into consideration that Sellers didn't play, but on top of that, your defense got walked up and down the field. It was 31-7. So if you had a loss like 21-7, I think it would have been better. Or maybe 17-7. It was like, okay, the defense played. If they, because like when y'all lost the LSU game last year, I think everybody thinks if Sellers is in that game, you win. To be honest, the way you lost to Vandy, I don't know if Sellers is in there. It might have been a closer game, but I don't know if you beat Vandy. So, Shawty, what you think about that? Like, is it like, do you think that was a blow just losing to Vandy, or do you think it was a blow how they lost to Vandy?
Both, Coach. Because it was an upset. And to your point, granted he got hurt early in the game, but it's still like Vandy had the momentum. I think Vandy just outplayed you guys. I think they were the better team on that day I don't think the quarterback would have mattered in that situation. I think Vandy just happens to be a better team this year, and they're gonna cause a lot of people problems.
Well, I said that on our show. I said that on our show Wednesday. I said the difference is in the first 2 games, and I know it's early in the season, but last year, every win they needed Pavia to do something special. No matter what, make a last second throw, make a last second, play, whatever it is. He needed
playing
something.
Defense this year.
They are just playing straight up. Like I ain't saying he's not playing good because he is, but I think they're playing. They are an actual team this year, and it's not just Pavia Magic. So
they haven't given up 10 points a game, I think, this year, Coach. Granted, it's only 3 games, but
I was about to say because they beat somebody 0, and then they gave up 20 to Virginia Tech, and then 10 to 7 to South Carolina. You're right. So, Stat, I know you're gonna get into the minutia of all the details and what you want to do going forward, but just you didn't finish the game. How I guess talk about that feeling. Like you knew Sellers was out, but it wasn't even that had you stop winning the game, stop watching the game.
So I told you in the preseason when they announced that Luke Doty was the backup quarterback, he was the backup quarterback in principle because you pray you don't need him. You pray Sellers stays healthy and gets you through the year. Luke Doty takes up garbage snaps, whatever. Sellers goes out with the concussion. Luke Doty finishes the drive. Cool, whatever. We come out to start the second half, and Beamer gets on a microphone on the SEC network and says, Luke Doty is our guy. We have all the faith in the world that he can get the job done in the second half. Why are we paying Air Nolan $1 million to sit on the bench? You brought this man in. He's a redshirt freshman. Luke Doty is a 6-year senior that's played wide receiver, quarterback, bench warmer, everything. I appreciate the fact you're from Myrtle Beach and you never transferred. In today's landscape, I appreciate the fact that you're a great Gamecock. Time to get a job, son. Give the ball to Air Nolan. We're not going to win the game anyway because our defense couldn't get off the field. We couldn't stop him on third down. So because you're not going to win the game anyway, put the ball in Air Nolan's hands. Worst case scenario, he's got the biggest arm on the team. Let him throw it 80 yards down the field and see if he can hit Harbor on stride. Who cares? You got 6'5" with 10-1 speed.
He had a decent game too, didn't he? Harbor.
He did. They targeted him a lot early too.
So, but that's where we are. The only other thing I will bring up is Sellers gets hit, freaky injury. It's football, things happen. Laying on the ground, it was roughly 3 minutes and 45 seconds that he was on the ground before they got him off. They spot the ball. Luke Doty hikes it. Hit as he's throwing the ball's going through the air. You hear 6 whistles blowing the play dead. Harbor catches the ball. One-on-one with the safety to the end zone. So instead of the game being 14-14, now they call targeting. Why did it take you 7 minutes to figure out it was Clearly the quarterback got hit in the head. He's unconscious on the field. So at that point, I don't even want the 15 yards. Forget the 15 yards.
You just took 7 from us.
Yeah. They're like, oh, they took a big play. It was probably like a 20-yard gain. I don't know who that safety from Vanderbilt is. I can promise you he ain't catching Lenore or
Nick Harbor.
Right. To the end zone.
Facts. That's facts. I
don't know running start.
Hey, I was watching it again last night, and I was like, "Woo!" He was, he was already in stride. He a big guy. He a bigger guy. He's super fast, but sometimes and Shawty Shawty has a quicker turnover than or had a quicker turnover. I was trying to get it to you, he had a quicker turnover than Nick Harbor, but Nick Harbor was already in stride. Now he about to hit top speed, boy.
Oh no, because he caught the ball, and by the time they blew the whistle 2 more times to stop it, he was 12 more yards downfield, jumping up and down like a rabbit. Oh my, I was out of here. I was gone.
One thing that I was telling Stat Guy, just knowing football and knowing about concussions and things, but I was trying to explain to him, the Norris is a very big guy, right? So he takes a lot of physical punishment. He sometimes gives out more punishment than he takes. And he got a concussion on a hit that didn't even look like it warranted even a flag. And I mean, it was not a very physical hit.
Right.
And for him to have that type of concussion where anytime you see the body seizes up in any form or fashion, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, they don't have to be careful with this because something like that, just that one play, and as big and as physical as he is, he might not never be the same again. Meaning, any kind of contact to the head with the way he play, he's susceptible to another concussion.
That's true. Nick, go ahead.
The other thing I was going to say too, that I'm going to be very interested to see. There's talk that Beamer said yesterday he is very optimistic that Sellers gets to start Saturday.
Stop it.
Yes. If he does, I'm telling you right now, if Sellers is the starting quarterback Saturday afternoon or Saturday night, Beamer better not be allowed back in Columbia, South Carolina.
Have a David Tool on your hand, you know what I'm saying? Like have a David Tool.
You putting a kid's livelihood, like not to joke or make fun of it, but like look at Antonio Brown, right? Like the dude's he's out there. Like I don't want to see that with Lenoris because you putting him in danger. Another thing to keep in mind when he does return, when he came back from the ankle injury last year against LSU, it took him like 4 games to get back right.
Right.
He didn't just come back and was just, and the ankle's a little different. But to Shorty's point, I'm very interested to see what he does when he comes back from the injury.
Right. I want to trust that Beamer is trusting a great medical staff down there, but I just watched Ryan Williams have to sit a game. Now, granted, it was Sisters of the Poor, whoever they played last week, but he was in concussion protocol from the Florida State game, and they said he needed to sit a game, and then he was going to be, probably cleared coming to Wisconsin, end up being cleared. I just always thought, like, you have a concussion. Yeah, I get it. Different bodies, different reactions, all that, but like a game was always pretty much warranted that you sit out. But I'm gonna trust that Beamer not gonna try to rush him back, because Beamer don't seem like that kind of guy.
Hey, Coach, to that guy point though, just real talk, like the body gonna let you know. I don't care what the staff say. How long that man was laid out there. For have concussion, they get up. You might see some people wobble a little bit, or some people might not. You might even know it, but you kind of can see it. But they'll get up and still. Man, that man was laid out for 3-4 minutes, man.
Yeah, so we'll see how it go though, dog.
All I'm gonna say, without touching too much on what I'm getting into Thursday, things are getting awfully suspicious in Columbia, and it might get ugly.
Hey, that's what. Hey, y'all want to hear more of what Stat Guy got to say on that situation? Then y'all make sure y'all tune into the Fat Addict Sports Network on Thursday at 8 p.m. Again, former wide receiver Corey Bridges will be a guest on the show. He gonna give his thoughts on the whole situation. He may have a whole different take, being a former player, being a former Gamecock. Who knows? He might be right in line with whatever Stat say. We'll see on Thursday. So,
you better be ready to talk me off the ledge. I don't need. He out here co-signing me. We in trouble, dog.
But shout out to Vandy for getting the win. Again, Vandy 2025, I think, even though they got kind of a new look offense, they got some different wide receivers on the outside, some that can kind of take the top off. Stat, to my point, I told you who was going to get picked on in that secondary. Not to say he ain't good, but I told you who was going to get picked on, Cisse. And Vandy went after him time and time again. Like I said, some of the throws allowed him to make a play. So, there was one where he almost hit the guy in stride. It goes through the guy's hands. Cisse was right there, step for step. But it's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, he ain't finding the ball quick enough. But if I'm looking at that secondary that South Carolina has, that is a good secondary, he's the guy. I'm like, okay, we targeting this guy. Not to say he can't play, but he's the guy that I'm targeting. And apparently the OCs that y'all play see the same thing.
Well, if the OCs that we play are smart, they would look at that defensive line and lick their chops and line up in the I formation and say, "Here's a whole bunch of running backs."
Because y'all been terrible on stopping that. So.
Shout out to Vandy again. It's a living testament of what happens, Coach, when you get the right guy.
Yeah, right. They got Georgia State, Utah State coming up. If they get those wins, they head to Alabama 5-0, and I think Vandy will be in the top. What are they right now? 17?
They 20 now.
They 20. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say this: even though they FCS, I mean not FCS, G4 opponent, G6, whatever we call them, they beat those two guys because Georgia State beat them last year, by the way. So they in Atlanta. So they beat Georgia State, they beat Utah. If they beat Utah State and Georgia State, they go into Bryant-Denny Stadium against Alabama, ranked in the top 15 for the first time. Had to be since James Franklin, if James Franklin was ever ranked in the top 15. Stevie G said, what games will you talk about on Wednesday? Oh, you already know, Stevie G, so you better be in the house, my guy. Oklahoma and Auburn, dog. Come on now. Act like you know now.
Talking about Tuesday.
No,
Wednesday.
Wednesday when we do our preview. Oklahoma, it'll be Oklahoma, Auburn, and it's only like one other, I think, meaningful game in the SEC.
South Carolina, Missouri.
South Carolina, Missouri. We'll talk about Arkansas, Memphis, because Hog Wild will be in the building, but that's it, baby. Oh, Florida, Miami. So Florida, Miami, South Carolina, Missouri, Auburn, Oklahoma, and some Arkansas and Memphis. But yeah, me and the stat guy will be dropping our preview on the Oklahoma Auburn game tomorrow as a recorded video. But then we will have Hog Wild, SEC Mo from Hog Wild on Wednesday. We'll get into it a little bit more. Jackson Auto travels back to Norman to his team, his former coach, and I'm pretty sure they're wanting to see him, you know what I'm saying, because he didn't play pretty too good when he was there. So AP say Vandy said we too smart to be out here getting beat up. Little brother fights back. Listen, I heard Jordan Rogers say today, or I was watching rewatching the South Carolina Vandy game. He called it. And of course, he was the quarterback at Vandy. He said his right tackle when he played, and Shawty said this when we did our SEC preview. He said the right tackle when he played was 250 pounds. 250. That's like a SEC defensive end, maybe not even defensive end, maybe linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Like now their line is all 300 plus. You know what I'm saying? 295 if they not 300. So Shawty had said that Vandy had better players, but like even like bigger players. You know what I'm saying? It's like players that look like SEC.
A lot of types don't change.
Right.
Like even I hate to give Tech credit. Same thing. They got better players.
Let's not forget the NCAA had to change the rules to give Vandy this season.
Oh, because of Papia.
You played all kinds of years in JUCO. You played at New Mexico State.
Kind of like Rasul Faison.
This is only his third year. This is only his third year playing NCAA football.
So that's what's going to be
no. He ain't his third year. He in his 6th year, dog. He was in the 2019. He was at Marshall in 2019. Did not play. He played in JUCO.
And New Mexico State, right?
Not Pavia. Not Pavia. We talking about they literally said it on the broadcast that the only reason why he got approved was because Pavia walked so he could crawl so he could walk.
I did hear that.
Okay, if it's only his 3rd year of NCAA football, dog, why do he have to apply?
Because he's been in college 7 years. You only get 4 years of.
You only get 4 years from the time you start playing. And you could be in college as a regular student, not on scholarship, for 2 years, and then go walk on to the team and still get 5 years. He was literally on rosters. Now, whether he actually stepped on the field and played, that's not the point. The point is, like right now, Archer's a 3rd-year player, so he only gets 5 years because he wasn't in the COVID class. He didn't play his first year at all, but that year counts towards those 5 years. So that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing. Whether how extreme it is or not, yes, Pavia might have actually.
After 5, you're applying for some type of.
That's what I'm saying.
Some type of.
Y'all are actually benefiting from the exact same rule. If Pavia doesn't do that, then Rasul doesn't get approved, even though it took a long time, because Pavia made it okay. Like, hey, why are we counting JUCO years?
Right. So if Pavia gets done right away, no issues. Why does it take 9 months?
Well, it ain't just Pavia. The dude from Tennessee that played point guard for them, but their basketball team got turned down. He got denied in 2 weeks.
But listen, that's what's going to be the main thing about Vanderbilt when you're talking about programs taking that next leap. They got to be able to bridge the next quarterback from Pavia to be that good. If not, they're going to go back to being better.
And while I think they do have, to that point, Shorty, while I do think they have better players now, the glue that holds them together is a gamer in Pavia. And I think the next quarterback could physically be better than Pavia, possibly because Pavia like what 5'7", I don't know, but Pavia can throw the ball, but he's a gamer at the
He's
end
a
of the
low
day.
budget. I ain't gonna even say low budget at this point because his accuracy is better than material. I'm gonna say he's a low budget material, but I don't know.
He can't move. He can't. No. He can't move like material though.
He's a low budget Johnny Manziel.
Because Johnny was small. Like Johnny was small. Not as dynamic with the legs, maybe.
Material got some quick twitch, but I mean I'm just talking about in terms of
accuracy.
No, he accurate, but I think his accuracy is not as good as Manziel nor Pavia. But I'm just saying he's kind of like a Pavia. I mean, he's like a material, but maybe not quite as dynamic.
Right. I think what we could see is possibly, and I'm just thinking about history and Vandy, I could see them bringing in a quarterback, maybe 6'2", you know what I'm saying? Somebody that can actually got a bigger arm, same attributes, but because he ain't got that mental, that gamer mentality, like they're following his lead. Like it's kind of similar to, I mean, for you and I'm not speaking for all the Dog Nation, for you and I, we would prefer a quarterback that has the Carson Beck skills. But I think what we can see is the team plays harder for Stockton because of the gamer mentality, that hard work, that type of thing. Not to say that this next quarterback for Vandy won't be like that, but it's going to be hard to replace all of that and still stay on top. So I think they're going to have to improve in other spots once they bring, once Poppy is gone after the year.
So something to keep in mind with it is with Tim Beck, their offensive coordinator, he runs a very unique system. It's a whole bunch of window dressing with motions all over the place.
They was killing South Carolina with that.
But they get the ball out quick. So you don't even necessarily need somebody with a big arm because everything is line of scrimmage to 3 yards. You get it to playmakers and they make plays because you try to use all the motion to get the right matchups or the right block set up. So because of that, you just need somebody that can be accurate because the ball's not really going anywhere.
They still gonna have to have that it factor, dog, because it brings the teams together. And some of those guys that don't usually play up to a high standard or a high level, sometimes they go the extra mile. I mean, we literally seeing it in real time at Georgia, dog. Like, again, I'm not saying that Stockton ain't great. I'm just saying that when you look at a prototypical quarterback,
has a cap,
right, and
very low cap.
But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, those dudes play hard for Stockton. Like I'm talking about, like to the nth degree.
They relate to him more. Beck was a little bit more Hollywood, and Carson just a little. This is South.
Right.
So I just put it in.
I think the same thing with Pavia. Pavia is he's the man,
blue collar worker.
Right. AP say it sound like you buying some stock in him, Shawty.
And who?
In Pavia.
Pavia for sure.
So my final thought on the game, and it just dawned on me. You know whose fault it is we lost this game?
Who?
That somebody allowed that damn Will Mush chant back in the stadium because I'm sure he was there Saturday night.
He was. He took a picture right outside of y'all outside the field with him, his wife, and his son. I'm still trying to, Mush chant. We still trying to find that NIL to get your son back and get your son in Athens. Like, hey man, he can play whatever sport he want to play. Get the NIL, play whatever.
I don't even know we got no position for him. I don't know we got no. Give him a Bluetooth ear set and just sit him anywhere in the stadium. We need you. We ain't got to have you on the staff. You know what I'm saying?
Dog, we need the champ back in the building, baby. Batman, the bat signal is up, dog. Hey, so with that said, man, we appreciate y'all rocking with us for another Monday. I know y'all got some Monday night football y'all gonna get to out there in football land. Appreciate y'all on Facebook, on YouTube. Shawty, tell them where they can find you before you get up out of here.
Yeah, man, for sure. You can find me here, obviously, on Monday nights with this current crew. You can find me tomorrow night with the rest of the crew. Respect the Hedges at 8:00. Then you can find me Wednesday night. Look here, man. It's a lot of college football, just like the stock market right now. It's very volatile. So find me Wednesday night. Just my damn opinion with my little crew, 9:00. Let me know whose stock you buying, what stock you holding, what stock you selling. I can tell you right now, Eli Manning stock, I'm still holding. Arch Manning, I'm still holding.
There it is. Hey, I got Hall of Fame college football Jason gets in. Appreciate you, Jason, for stopping by. Hey, Stevie G asked us who we was previewing on Wednesday show, because we always do our Wednesday preview. If you're not live, then make sure you're in the comments, because you already know who's the main topic. It's going to be OU and Auburn. So, Stat, close us out with some thoughts, man.
Yeah, y'all already know. Y'all can find me here Wednesday night doing previews and predictions. And then Thursday night, I promise you, you don't want to miss it, because I am going on an absolute bender and I'm getting it all off my chest, and it ain't pretty. Look, man, you just don't lose to Vanderbilt. It's unacceptable.
Stat guy say he don't care how good Vandy's gotten. South Carolina had beaten them like 17 times in a row, and that's just what they do. You can't lose to Vandy. So, hey, yeah, you make sure y'all tune in Thursday night, 8 p.m. live to the Stat Line with Jeff the Stat Guy. And we will have a special guest. Former wide receiver Corey Bridges is coming on to give his thoughts on the situation as well. So,
we got a special guest, don't we?
Yes. Tomorrow night on Respect the Hedges, be sure to tune in. We'll be talking all things Georgia beating Tennessee. Since we got a bye week this week, we'll break down all the minutia. And all the Dog fans know we've been having O-line troubles, and specifically the right side of the O-line. We're going to have somebody in the house tomorrow, another damn good dog. Somebody that know a little something about the position, man. Hey, it's going to be our guy, former offensive tackle, all world, all SEC, Chris Terry. Y'all make sure y'all tune in, because I talked to CT today. I said, hey, man, we need you to come in, break down that O-line, what's going on, what we need to do to fix it, because it has to get fixed if we're going to challenge for the SEC, win another SEC, and make it far in the playoffs. So there it is, man. Hey, again, Fan Sports Network is all SEC all the time. We live Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays is the snap count. Mondays being the recap from the previous weekend. Wednesdays being the preview for the upcoming weekend. Tuesday is all Georgia on Respect the Hedges. And then Thursday is the Stat Line with Jeff the Stat Guy, where you're talking all Gamecock football. So, hey, it's gonna be like that. So make sure, and we appreciate everybody in the comments, man. Y'all always keep our comments fire. For my guy Jeff the Stat Guy, shouted just my damn opinion.
Hey,
make sure you go subscribe. What's up?
One quick thing. I know Hall of Fame in the comment. Look here, man. Right. I might be buying a little Oklahoma stock. I might be looking all right.
So make sure you tune in to Just My Damn Opinion at 9 p.m. after the snap count on Wednesday. So you get your show at 8, you get your show at 9, just full of football. Bring a friend. I'm challenging everybody that was in the comments tonight, everybody that was viewing on Facebook and YouTube. When you show back up, bring a friend with you. All right, man. For my guy, Stat Guy, Shouty, I'm Coach I, and we out of here.
Peace.